Let's talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about
That girl from LA and
it.
that guy
Let's
from
talk
New York.
about it. Talk about it.
Say, do you want to talk about it?
Let's talk about it. Talk about it.
I think I might want to go on there.
Let's talk about it.
together,
Talk
girl.
about it.
And now your host of Let's Talk About It,
Let's talk
Raheem Mitchell.
Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk About It. I am your host, Raheem Mitchell. Let me explain to you a little bit about my show. A lot of people don't understand. This show, I will bring on anybody. Anyone who want to come on the show and talk about something, hey, come on the show. Let's talk about it. Even if you're a parent, and you know how most parents, all these kids are getting all this math homework, and it takes like 4 or 5 pages to get the math homework done, and that's just only for one problem. If that's something you want to talk about, come on the show and let's talk about it. We can talk about traffic, anything you want to talk about. If you have a friend in the community you want to bring in, let's talk about it. Let's do it. Which brings me to the guest I have in the studio this week. I was, looking around on Facebook Messenger, and I seen an old friend of mine that I used to do shows with. And I looked and I was seeing all the things that he was doing. So I hit him up and I'm like, hey man, why don't you come on the show and let's talk about it. I explained to him what the show is about, and he was all excited and everything. So he's here with his bishop, and I want to welcome Chris and Bishop Ervin to Raheem Mitchell. Let's talk about it. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you. Hello.
How's everything?
Great. Wonderful.
Doing good.
Yes, sir.
Man, Chris, let me tell you, man, I was excited when I'm like, man, Chris ain't gonna even answer me, man. He's just so busy.
Wow.
He just busy. I didn't think Chris was gonna answer me. So I'm like, dang, I hope Chris answers me. And then bling, message came up. I looked. I'm like, all right, Chris, answer me. So we started talking about it, and Chris was like, man, I would love to come on the show and everything. I said, cool, come on the show, man. So I'm like, yes, let's do it. Chris was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I said, okay, yeah, let's do it. And then Chris was like, wait, I'm gonna see if I can get the bishop, and see if the bishop can come on too. And he said, Raheem, guess what? I'm like, what? He said, yeah, the bishop's on good. The bishop is on board. And I'm like, yes, cool, let's do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he said, come out to the, I said, I said, you're having a program on Sunday. I said, let me come out and let me shoot some footage of the program. Then I bring you guys in, and then that's something that we can talk about. He was like, okay, cool. And I said, make sure the bishop is there. He's like, hey, the bishop's real busy. So I don't know. I said, come on, you just ask me. And luckily enough, man, the bishop was there, the first lady was there, man, and I brought both of them on, man. I interviewed them both. I asked them questions about the church and how long the church been there, and man, they were just they were just like,
Absolutely.
just welcome, man. They just opened up the doors and was like, hey, hey, whatever you want, we can do it. So, Bishop,
Yes,
ask you a
sir.
question. Is it hard to pastor leader in 2019? What's the difference between now and then when you were growing up?
Wow. Where shall I start? I mean, I would have to say the advent of technology,
Right.
internet, has brought a lot of things closer and quicker to people. What I mean by that is, my parents used to say things like, kids are wiser but weaker, wiser but weaker. And I think what they meant was they were getting more education and more intellectual things, but were not as strong as kids used to be because they used to work in the fields, those kind of things.
Right.
So I think they really meant they weren't physically as strong, but they were, I guess mentally or intellectually stronger. And with the advent of the internet, and they're able to Google everything, it's amazing. My granddaughter doesn't even have encyclopedias.
Wow.
Remember, our parents would order encyclopedias, man.
Yeah.
Somebody come by and sell them, knock on your door, encyclopedias. We had about 3 or 4 sets because they would go out every few years, like technology does. Every 3 or 4 years, had to update them, put something else in, new president, whatever happened, in the last 4 or 5 years. So we had just rows and stacks of encyclopedias, and now a kid just does it on their phone.
Yes.
And these kids are 9, 10 with phones, with $1,500 phones,
Yes.
and it's at their fingertips. So number one, staying ahead of that curve is something. Then I also talk about morals and principles. I remember my father's church on 108th between Main and San Pedro and Watts in the hood.
Right.
Guys walking down the street, man, drinking beer, smoking a cigarette. They would hide the beer behind their back, put out the cigarette, walk by the church, say, good morning, how are you? and get back, light up on the other end and keep walking. But now
exactly.
people write graffiti on churches, they break in churches, they come to funerals high, and I mean, it's a total different. And those people in the old days did not attend church; they still respect the institution.
Right.
So it's hard when people don't even respect the institution. But then you have to ease up some because you got people say, "I don't have church clothes." Well, come as you are.
That's it.
Then come as you are is an interpretation. So, so how far do you go come as you are? I mean, it's just so many nuances and different things that we deal with now that old pastors didn't have to deal with, or pastors of past generations, I should say, didn't have to deal with. And there's a song that says to serve this present age, and it really is a task to serve this present age. You have to be on your toes. Yes. You have to be aware because, I've got my mother in my church, which is 90, and my granddaughter that's 10.
Right.
So that shows you just how vast that is, trying to serve these different generations and keep them all happy. So I often used to say at Church One, we go from hymn to hip hop in one service.
Yes.
You have to be that flexible, So
you have to.
One Sunday I had on, Nike sweatsuit. Last Sunday I had on a collar. So it's being versatile, being able to switch up, and do something different and go with the flow.
Yeah. And speaking of last Sunday, whew.
You enjoy yourself, brother?
Man.
Did God move?
Man. When Chris said, I'm just going to do, Chris always
downplays
undercoats
it. Downplays it.
Yeah, he downplays it a lot.
Yeah.
I'm doing a little presentation, man. Won't you come out, do a little video, and tell me what you think.
And he blew it up. He blew up the spot.
Blow it up. He blew up the
Yeah.
spot.
For Jesus.
He had dancers there. He had a whole full choir, man. He dressed in white, looking like angels, and just doing the thing, man. And I was just sitting there, I'm like, Chris did it to me again.
Wow.
He did it again, man.
I'm glad you brought so many cameras, man. They said a 2-camera shoot. It was like 4 or 5 cameras. I'm like, man, these cats are doing a full production up in here.
Oh, yeah.
So you came with it, too. You kind of downplayed it.
No, I was just making sure.
You kind of downplayed it, too.
No, because Chris was telling me, he was like, Raheem, you know what I want. I want the close-up shots. I want audience shots, close-up shots. I want people's reactions. I want face reactions.
You said it's going to be a wide one and one moving around. I saw one over here, one over here. And I was like, man, this is major production.
Yeah.
Praise God.
Thank you very much.
You on that level,
I'm glad we did it to your standards. But one thing I want to tell you that in your message you did something with the plastic, with the crushed bottle and the full bottle, and it was about a person's redemption and wealth,
right?
Which brought me back to my days where Chris and I used to be on the road with plays, and with a lot of people, only person that knew was Chris, the producer, and Chuck P. They were the only ones that knew while we were on the road. I was doing dialysis because I needed a kidney. That was years ago.
And still acting.
And I was still acting. I was leaving my room at 5 o'clock in the morning, going on a machine for 4 hours, and then showing up for rehearsal. And then Chuck P slipped one time at rehearsal. Now he was like, "Wait a minute, man. How can Raheem have all this energy and he just got off the machine 4 hours ago, and y'all didn't even have to have that?" And this man is bringing more energy than anybody in this room.
Because most people have to go to sleep after that.
Yeah. Yes.
You go to work.
No, I went straight to rehearsal.
You got to take a nap, a long nap.
So, excuse me. So when I was when I auditioned for the piece, I was telling Chuck and Chris, I said, "Listen, man, I might have to have dialysis, man." And so Chuck was like, "So, what's the problem?" I said, I don't have no kidney function. And he was like, "That's on the inside. How are you on the outside?" He said, "Can you still bring it?" I said, "Oh, yeah, I can do it." He said, "Okay, so what's the problem? You still have your value."
The value.
Yeah. And then when you said
redeemable.
That, he said, "You still can do whatever you want to do. You still can act. You still can do this." So he said, "So what's the problem?" And I was like, I thought about it, and I said, "Well, absolutely nothing."
Wow.
And then when you brought that message Sunday, about I'm like, wow. And I was sitting there, and I got to thinking, and Ross was in my ear. "Okay, give me a close up. Give me a close up. Give me a close up. Raheem, give me a close up." Oh. And then I gave him a close up because I was reminiscing.
Wow.
That same thing that you were saying, because my godmother was telling me, it's Das Patterson. She's a minister also, and she was telling me, she said a lot of people want to pass up the dented cans in the store, but inside the can, it's the same thing.
Content's
it just
still
has
good.
a little blemish,
Right.
but it's still the same
Right.
thing. She said, you know, you might have your kidney function, but which she told me, which is only going to be a little while, because God is going to take care of that. But it's only going to be a little while. So you go ahead and, you know, he said, with this, she said, this is giving you patience, because you know it takes like 4 to 5 years to get a kidney.
Wow.
That's right.
So she said, you know, God is, she said, I don't know what's going on, but God is working on you about something to build your patience.
Wow.
So she said, you go ahead, do what you have to do, and just deal with it. So, and that's what I did. And just to reflect on what you said Sunday, so that kind of,
That redemptive value.
yeah, that kind of brought things back, you know, back into perspective of what I was talking about.
Wow.
So,
Want me to share a little bit about that?
let's go ahead and share.
Okay. You mentioned redemption, and that was really the title of what I talked about Sunday, Psalm 25, the 25th division of Psalm, and the very last verse deals with redemption, dealing with being redeemed. I talk about waiting on God and then being redeemed. At the very end of the sermon, I had 2 bottles. I had a full bottle of water and one that had been crushed, a plastic bottle had been crushed. Same bottle, but one was full. So I drank the one and emptied it out. I said, now.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but in my head, when you was drinking the bottle, I was saying behind myself, I was saying to myself, go,
Right.
go.
It's funny because I watched the footage and people in the audience like, oh, you see like excitement. And when I finished, I was like, yes, like, okay. I was looking for that, but yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. But I drank the one, and so I put the top back on, had the young man help me put the top back on, and I mentioned that it was a flat bottle that had been ran over by a car,
Right.
and one that was empty but still had its form.
Right.
But both were purchased with water in them, which was the quality you really purchased it for, is for what's in it, the contents.
Yes.
You know, like I said, what's inside of you, the contents. But once the contents was emptied out, one bottle had been crushed and destroyed, if you will, looked destroyed. But because the redemption price had been paid at the register when they were first purchased, 5 cent, CRV, California Redemption Value, it was still worth 5 cent.
Right.
So the crushed one and the fully formed one still had the same worth.
Yeah.
And I say, you may have been damaged in life, you may have been run over, you may have been crushed, but you still got the value that you were purchased for. And Jesus purchased our value on Calvary with his blood. He purchased our sins, past, present, and future, with his blood. So therefore, your worth is still there. Even you look crushed, damaged, kidney failure, the things you've been through, you still have value.
That's it.
Amen.
Amen. I appreciate that.
Praise
And like
God.
that, I was telling that because I kept saying, I kept looking at Chris. And then when we were filming, I had, I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I cut behind you. I crossed behind you. And that's something you don't do in film. And I was telling Chris, and Chris was like, oh man, no, don't worry about that. He's a moving preacher. He okay, don't worry about that.
I
But
move
said,
so much, it'd be hard, man, because
I was like, how
yeah.
am I going to keep up with this guy? But I said, Chris, please let me go to his office so I can apologize to this man. I said, I'm sorry. Chris already putting too much on it. It is not.
Yeah, he
that
did come to
serious.
office you apologize. I'm like, dude, I move around a lot. I have to apologize to you because I'm not this stand behind the pulpit stationary guy. I got a cordless mic and I'm on the move, you know.
Right.
And I talk better when I move. So even now I'm moving, you know, I'm in the chair, but I'm still animated because I feel what I say.
Right.
You know, and it expresses not only verbally but also physically through my body communicates too. So that's why I'm like that. But I'd say even at weddings, man, I'm like, hey, if you want to come over my shoulder and get a shot of the couple, fine. Some preachers like, it's sacred ceremony, stay away. You know, God is in this atmosphere. Like, okay, God's everywhere. But anyway, you know, get the best shot for the people. At the end of the day, they need good wedding pictures.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm doing the nuptials and the vows, but at the end of the day, they need good wedding pictures. So do what you have to do. So you never have to apologize again for that at our church, man.
I just wanted to make
get
sure.
a good shot, make it all good, and we're happy.
All right.
Amen.
Amen. I
Praise
appreciate
God.
that. So, I want you to kind of tell me a little bit about Mr. Chris.
Man,
here.
we got
What is
this
the
guy
reason?
that just came out of ministry not long ago,
Yeah, let me
man.
know about Chris.
When I tell you, I know you heard of Michael Bolton and some other Boltons, but you ain't heard of Chris Bolton.
Right.
He is the bomb.com. God has really blessed and gifted him with musical talents that are, you know, he definitely was raised in church and raised in an environment of church and does well in that environment, but his gifts extend far beyond that.
Yes.
I understand there's some I don't even know yet, like Solomon, a half hasn't been told, but I know he does stage plays and backup for, great singers that we know, in R&B and soul and jazz, whatever. He's just a great talent, man. I thank God for him, that God sent him our way to Long Beach, to the LBC,
Right.
the Church One, to be part of what we're doing here. And I thank God for him, like I say, gifted, talented, unique individual that God is using in this day and time. I believe he's going to shake the foundation here in Long Beach. And we're going to see great revival even through the music and the arts, not only at Church One, but we're going to reverberate
Yes.
throughout the community and the neighborhood. We're going to have greatness to come in. So Minister Chris Bolton,
Yeah.
that's who he is.
Yeah. So Chris, the main thing, Chris's thing was, I'm still gonna talk about the road. You said Chris said the pastor don't know that, but
Right.
I'm gonna let it slip a little bit. But anyway, the main thing Chris would always say on the road, hey, although we're gonna do a show Saturday night, we still gonna get up and we gotta go to church. Who has a family member in this area that can let us get to the
Old
church?
school, baby.
And this girl was like, well, my uncle's in Southern. How far is that church away from you, babe? How far is it away from my hotel?
Wow.
Okay, well, tell your uncle we're gonna come with a bus. Can he park a long bus in his driveway?
Wow.
At his ministry? Okay, tell him we coming. And
Wow.
every Sunday we were there. Even
That's good.
Even when we were finishing the show at like 10:30, 11 that night, we out signing autographs. Chris like, y'all got 10 minutes to sign autographs, meet and greet, get to the room, sleep, because we got church 6 o'clock in the morning.
He sounds like my father. My dad was a
Yeah.
pastor, man. He's like, I don't care if you club, whatever you do on Saturday night, you going to church on Sunday morning. That's right. I'll be in there messed up, like trying to pay attention, but yeah, that's
So
good.
Chris, enlighten everybody on what's your part or what you do for the church. Let's talk about it. Let everybody know.
Well, first of all, I'm excited to be here.
Right.
And I want to say congratulations to your new talk show. It's a blessing. I mean, wow. You're doing it.
I'm trying, man.
You're doing
Look
it.
at God's will, I'm trying.
You're doing it, so let's talk about it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but God brought me to Church One, and I had absolutely no idea that I was going to be under this great leadership. But God knows all things.
Right.
Like I said, last year I went through a terrible time with my mom passing, and I was just kind of discombobulated, didn't kind of know which way to go, But the Lord was dealing with me, and He gave me a dream.
Right.
He gave me a dream, and in my dream I was transitioning. And so long story short, I ended up meeting with Bishop Ervin,
Right.
and I became the minister of music. And I tell you, ever since I've been there, I've been so blessed just by the word alone, and then by the entire music department. I mean, it's just amazing. It's an amazing group of people, wonderful people to work with, from the dance to the choir to the band to the praise team. It is just such a joy. And what I wanted to do was because I do theater. I've been
Yes.
doing theater for 30 years.
Right.
With a theater background as well as TV and film. So what I want to do is to bring some of those gifts to the ministry as well, because I believe they had it some time back.
Yes.
And so we just want to just kind of
Jump-start it.
Resurgence.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So I wanted to show the unification of the entire music department. So that's what the purpose of on last Sunday,
Yes.
which is to show us all together as one, as a family. And that was just one of many things that's to come. And we, like I said, we've got a lot of things coming up. We're preparing for our Christmas gala December 15th, which is coming up, as well as we're getting ready for our Black History presentation on February 23rd. And then on April 25th, 2020,
Yes.
You got them days
we're
better than me.
getting ready for our spring concert.
All right.
Our spring concert. So we're doing great things, and each one is going to be a production. So, and like I said, listening to Bishop's vision and dream what God has given him. So I would just want to just make sure that I'm able to help that vision manifest. So that's my purpose and that's my goal at Church One.
Well, it seems like everybody at the church is with you, and everybody is just having fun. And I was watching everything, and what you were saying was bringing everybody together. Now, I've been at many churches, and I've always seen just the praise dancers come out, and I've always seen just the other choirs come out, but I've never seen it as one big ensemble.
Wow.
You know, it looked just like it looked like a play to me.
A production.
It looked like a full blown production. And when you had when you started singing, and then the dancers started coming in, then the praise dancers started coming down the aisle and everything, and then they started dancing, and then the choreographer, wait till I see him. I'm gonna choke him out because he didn't tell me that the women was gonna have long wings.
Okay.
I'm thinking they all was gonna have the streamers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So when the two ladies on the end in the silver started swaying their arms, and then they had these long wings, and I'm sitting there with the camera, and I'm like, oh, well, I gotta zoom out. I said, they did not have this at rehearsal.
Right.
You know, I mean, I wish he would have let a brother know. 'Cause
That was actually a surprise.
Well, it would trust me. Trust
Surprise
and
you
believe
too?
me. It surprised me because your main thing, I want close-up, I want facial expression, I won't do that. And that's what we were doing. But when she opened up her wings and everything and did that, and Ross was in the balcony, and Ross was like, whoa, wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Because, you know, we had like 4 cameras there. So we had to make sure we caught that too.
Right.
That was big. And I'm like, I
It was huge.
I was saying it to Ross. They did not
And
do
you know
this
what?
at rehearsal.
Speaking of the choreography, one thing about what I like at Church One Ministries, when I got there, Bishop they already had a team
Right.
of some wonderful, wonderful, world-renowned artists in their own right. And each department is spearheaded by its own leader.
Right.
Which is Kwame Corbett, which was our choreographer for the dancers, and then you have the wonderful Jonathan Greer, who's well known here in the Los Angeles area.
Right.
He's over our choir, and then we have Elder Dwayne Johnson, great singer, anointed singer, great praise and worship. So he's over our praise and worship, and then we have Larry Cox, which is our musical director, along with Philip Shirley. So together, this core of people make up the music department.
Wow.
And so it makes my job easier when you have capable people that can spearhead their departments. So all I basically did was just come and bring everybody together.
Right.
That's all I did. You know, so I thank God for them. And like I said, you're going to see great things coming from us in the future. So that's
It's
all I
amazing
can
he
say.
said that. He's glue. I call him glue. He's the glue.
Yeah.
So I need you to put all these people together and glue because, I mean, the Lakers were great, you know, but, you know, Phil Jackson really made them.
Yeah,
he solidified
he
what they
brought all that
had, you know.
together.
Phil Jackson with the Bulls.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can have a Michael Jordan and Pippen and all that, but you got to have the right coach that can pull those people together, man. So it's, you know, I'm excited.
Yeah, I was
really am.
excited too,
Yeah, I'm
man.
excited.
I was saying to
really
myself
am.
when Chris was naming, when you just named all the other things that the church is doing, I'm over here saying, well, you know, I'm kind of hoping, you know, you're going to let a brother Geed be able to come over there and get a couple shots for you.
Well, we
Make
love
sure-
to, man, because it's funny because even the station you're linked with that's allowing you this privilege to do the show, man. It's been years that we've been trying to form a relationship here, and then you two get together and it happens anyway. So it's like, it's God's plan. And it's the right season, the right time. Sometimes you try things, it's not the right season, the right time. But when God has a perfect timing and perfect season and the right man, you know, to bring that together, because God doesn't do anything without a man in the plan.
Right.
He can do things by himself because he created the world by himself. But after that, everything that he blessed, you know, he made it to produce after his own kind. So he's always going to put man in the middle, even of your miracle.
Right.
Kidney and all that. I need a kidney, but someone's got to put it in. Someone's got to bring you one. You know, so he always puts a man in the plan to make things happen at the right time. And this is the man for the plan for the right time. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's good. Chris, I was watching you on Facebook, and you were letting the public know that you were looking for singers and dancers and things like that. So go ahead and let everybody know exactly what you're saying. 'Cause you know how some people look at it and they probably reading it wrong. Like, wow,
Yes.
I'm not that good of a singer. I'm not that good of a dancer. So
Yes.
just go ahead and explain to them, even if you don't know how to, even you can just tap one foot, snap a finger. We can use you. We can use somebody
Absolutely.
somewhere. So just kind of explain to the people what type of singers you're looking for, what type of dancers you're looking for, or just whatever it is that you're looking for to help you in your ministry.
Yes. God is growing the church, and we're always looking for new people. And the music ministry is on the move this year and into the years to come. So we're looking for dancers, singers, musicians. We're just looking. We have productions coming up. People that can switch with sopranos, altos, tenors. We even looking for a couple of. Now, some people can sing, some people can sing.
Right.
And then you have people that just make a joyful noise.
Right.
Now the ones that make the joyful noise will just kind of maybe put you in the back.
Good category.
But you help at least make up the number.
Right.
So, but we are looking for, like I said, those to come and help the ministry grow. We can never have enough.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and I'm looking for at least about a 50 to 60 voice choir.
Wow.
Amen.
And a dance ministry 2025.
Right.
Production. Bishop wants production, and we have not because we ask not.
Hallelujah.
So I'm asking if you can dance. Now, if you just can't dance, you just can't dance.
Right.
We'll find something for you to do.
Right.
But if you can dance, we are looking for you. We have a wonderful choreographer, Mr. Kwame Corbin.
Alvin Ailey trained.
Yes, very professionally trained. And so he can get you right together. And like I said, Jonathan Greers, which is of our choir, excellent vocal training. Dwayne Johnson, myself. So we're looking for you. So please come on out. We rehearse every other Tuesday and every other Thursday.
All right. So, Bishop,
Yes, sir.
can you tell the community what to look for in the years to come for Church One, if it be God's will?
Man, just impact on the community. I often ask the church, if we move today, will the community care?
Right.
So we don't only want to be a spiritual agent, but physical. How can we help? We had a job fair one time at the church. Over 600 people showed up, and there were construction jobs. We were able to get people in apprenticeship programs through the union. We had the Urban League come out. They gave them belts, hats, to go along with, the program. Just making impacts like that. Another time we had a spot on or hire on the spot job fair. About 400 people showed up to that one, and we had people already. Don't come unless you're going to hire on the spot. That was our rule. So the people came for that, and they did that. We have. I mentioned when we talked before about my wife has something called My Girlfriend's Closet,
Yes.
where we bring new and gently used clothes and set up clothing racks in the sanctuary, move the chairs out the way, and bring women from different shelters. Those have been drug addicted, things of that sort, get their nails done, their hair done, give them mock interviews, teach them how to interview and things like that. Now let's go into the interior of the church. I want to expand this. He mentioned production. I want to expand it to the point to where our church is actually able to have a dance company, if you will. Right. And when I say dance company, I mean be able to get grants and things where we're teaching classical piano, dance, music, string instruments. I mean, just things that most kids if you will, in the hood don't get exposed to. But be able to teach them another culture and take them to another level in their thinking and expand their minds. I don't want to just be a church that's open on Sunday. I want to be a Monday through Friday resource for the community. Want to eventually move to a bigger warehouse type situation where we have a workout gym, kind of like your 24-hour fitness type gym, at the church. Have a community center at the church. Have a library at the church. Well, like internet now, but computers available for people. Right. But we want to have all types of things that are resources for the people, and not just and you don't have to be a member. Mm-hmm. If a kid wants to come in and learn voice, he can teach vocal lessons. Some others we have vocal lessons. He mentioned musicians, Philip Shirley, who was talented young man, just came in because of Chris. And then the other young man we have that plays with us, he is a MD for Robin Thicke, you know, the singer. So like I said, we're loaded with talent, man. We just need to get it out, get the word out, and get the news out, or the publication out that we're a open door church. Come on in, be a part of what we're doing. We want to help you, train you, get you out the streets even. Church for me back in the day kept me out the streets.
Yes.
Church and sports kept me out the streets.
Because you're going to be at church all day.
Man,
Yeah.
man.
Talking about from Sunday school to church, then come back
outing in the middle
Yeah.
to another church, then come back for either if you were Coach, it goes YPWW, if you were Baptist, it was
There
BTU,
you
Baptist
go.
Training Union, if you was Methodist, it was Royal Rangers, whatever you call it, if you was Apostolic, it had some other name for it. And then the pastor, I feel a revival tonight.
Yeah.
Then he started a revival after, you have that meeting, man. Sometimes you literally will be at church all day long, and then you go 5 days during the week because you have revival, bring your homework with you.
Yeah, that's it.
And
We'll have food here.
sit in the
Food's
back of the pews,
That's it.
feeling
Do your homework.
But I thank God because it saved my life.
Yes.
I really believe it saved my life. I really do. I believe the church literally saved my life because there was so much for me to get into growing up in Compton, Carson, Long Beach. It was always something in the streets to do. I found a little bit to do out there, but not a whole lot to where I got caught up, but I can't act like I'm just totally innocent. I mean, some things happen, but the church is always a foundation. And I believe Church One needs to be foundational. Not only I'm African American, but we want to be open to all cultures.
Yes.
We're really trying to be a church of multicultural experience, not just African American, but of all, ethnicities. Yeah. The word go and preach, to all nations. The Bible says, go and therefore in all nations. That word is the word ethnos in the Greek, which is our English word ethnicity. So he's saying preach to all ethnicities. So, we have our Latino brothers around us, our Samoan brothers around us, whoever it is, we want to be able to reach them too, very effectively.
I wish we can go on, but I got the signal to wrap up. So what I want to say is if you can go ahead and just give out the address to where your church is, let them know what time the service starts on Sunday, and then I'll close us out.
Church One, 700 East 70th Street, Long Beach, California, 90805. Church One Ministries. If you want to Google Church One Ministries, LBC, you can get us that way. But Church One, 700 East 70th Street, Long Beach, California, 90805, near the Artesia and 17 freeway corridor. We're not downtown. I say 70, some people go downtown looking for 7th. No, 70. We're near Compton, Paramount, and that trifecta. God bless you and thank you so much.
All right.
Let's talk about it.
That's right. All right. Excuse me. A lot of people kept emailing me and telling me, you must have Chris Bolton on your show. I said, hey, I had Chris Bolton on the show, and they're like, no, we want Chris Bolton, the experience. So I said, okay. And ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Mr. Chris Bolton, the experience. Say hello to everybody, Mr. Chris.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Oh, yeah. I'm excited to be here, man.
Man, I see you are doing big things, Mr. Bolton.
Wow.
Man.
I tell you, it's been, first of all, it's been years since we've worked together, huh?
Man, the last show we did was Papa Ray's Money. Where's Papa Ray's Money? With nephew Tommy, and you played the character that kept eating.
Joe. My character name was Joe.
Yeah, you played Joe.
Yep.
Yeah, and I played your drunken uncle.
You sure
did. Every time I came on stage, I was drunk, man, and all that good stuff. And but even back then, you were still doing your music, man. And I remember one time at rehearsal, I was telling you, I said, Chris, man, I was trying to get you to be friends on Facebook. You're like, Raheem, man, listen, I'm gonna have to drop a few cats, man. Then I'm gonna go ahead and bring you aboard, man. So I have so many people right now, but a lot of people don't respond to what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you're not even a friend on my page, and you still saying stuff. You still, saying, oh man, I saw you here, I saw you there. So you said, well, Facebook is telling me that I had to open up another account or something. You were saying. So explain that to what you were saying. What was going on about that?
Well, I was on Facebook. When you reach your limit of 5,000 friends, you can't accept anybody else. So either you start another page, Chris Bolton 2, or a music page, which is what I did. I started the Chris Bolton fan page.
Right.
Because I was getting so many friend requests that I just couldn't accept everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, but because, you know, I've been singing and acting for 30 years.
Right.
I've been acting professionally for 30 years, and it has been such a blessing. And during that time, you know, I was able to meet wonderful people as yourself.
Right.
You know, a wonderful actor, and so it's just been, you know, so through that journey, I just met so many people, man, and you know, and I just couldn't accept everybody, so I started another page.
Right.
So
That's it.
That's
yeah.
where we are.
Yeah, as I rehearse, I'm like, man, I can't. You're like, I'm starting the page, man, and I'm gonna get you on. And I'm like, cool, man. I mean, just the other night, I was watching. It was one play you were in. Believe you played the boyfriend, which I can't remember the name of that
Plumber.
show. The plumber. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
What was that? Was that his woman, his wife? Which one was
No,
that?
that was David E. Talbert's Mr. Right Now.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes, starring myself, Keisha Ely,
Right.
Lawrence Hilton Jacobs,
Right.
and Lucretia Campbell.
Yes.
Yes. God rest her soul. She
Right.
passed away. But yes, that was a wonderful, wonderful. Oh my God, that show was amazing.
Yeah, man. Because when you start, I was telling everybody, I said, now because we were watching the show on. Remember AJ?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was doing another show, and we were on a tour bus watching it, and she brought in a bunch of DVDs.
Yeah.
So she showed you. She showed that play, and you was at the door singing. And I was like, that boy be. I said, Chris just be acting up when he's singing. So let's talk about it, man. What is Chris Bolton doing now? Talk to me about your music, man. And I know God is just blessing you with everything, man. I'm trying to kind of put my cup over here to get some of them blessings that's just pouring over.
Man, let me, you know, I tell you, I've been still singing, still touring. I just completed the Chris Bolton Experience Tour where we honor caregivers
Right.
across the United States. I was my mother's caregiver for 10 years. My mother recently passed away on last year. And so what I wanted to do was give back to the community. Because a lot of people talk about breast cancer, diabetes, or whatever have you, but nobody ever talks about the people that sacrifice their life to take care of somebody else.
Right.
So those are the people that we wanted to honor across the United States. And so we opened up in Las Vegas
Right.
on last year, and we did Chicago, we did Memphis, we did North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina. So it was just amazing. And so through that, we also getting ready to, I just signed a 3-year contract with South Africa.
Wow.
So we are bringing the Chris Bolton Experience Tour to South Africa. So that is a blessing as well. And then we also, I'm also in a new show called The Eden Experience.
Right.
Featuring recording artist Donald Lawrence, which is going to be this coming Sunday.
Okay.
This coming Sunday, so we're going to be doing
What
that.
is the, sorry, what's the eating experience? Explain that.
The Eden Experience is, Donald Lawrence is a very world-renowned writer, and he had an album called The Eden Experience. And so a lot of his songs were biblically based.
Right.
And so we're taking people on the journey from Adam and Eve, Abraham and Sarah, those that were all a part of that Eden experience. So we're encouraging people to, let's go back to God's original plan.
Right.
That was for us to be blessed. So we're telling that particular story on stage.
Right.
So,
Wow.
yep.
That's good. Now I want to ask you a question about when you're writing a song. Like me when I do stand up and I think of something, and if something funny happened, then I write it down. So what is your I know you don't want to give your technique away, but what do you do when you're writing a song? How do you go by? What's the steps? What do you do and things like that?
Well, first, you know, I like to know what I'm writing about, and so concept. You know, I like to tell stories. You know, so and when you're telling a story, whether you're writing a novel or a script or a comedy, you know, you come from experience.
Right.
So I take a lot of my personal experience and put them on paper. I have a new single that's coming out called "Don't Be Afraid," And that the concept of that song came from just being afraid to step out on faith and let God do what He do.
Right.
You know, sometimes we want to do it, and there's something holding us back. But you know, but in this day and time, you have to step out. Whatever you want to do in life, in your career, don't be afraid.
Just step out on faith.
Step out on faith, because God's got your back.
Right.
You know, so that's so in writing that song, also another young lady was a co-writer as well. But that's how I begin to write songs, you know, from life experiences. Yes.
Okay. So, like, how many songs? Because I know this one particular guy. Well, actually, let's just go to Michael Jackson for a minute. 'Cause everybody know Mike.
Right.
Period. I was watching an interview with Michael Jackson, and before he passed, and Michael Jackson says that he writes 25 songs, and when he's writing the 25 songs, he lets his mother read the songs, and out of those songs, she picked the ones that she like, and those are the songs that he produced. Now you figure if he's writing he said he's been writing 25 songs since he's been in the business, and each 25 song he gives them to his mother, and his mother might pick maybe 7 or 8 of those songs. Wow. So you figure out of those 25, she's picking 8.
Wow.
So the rest of the, 17 songs? Songs we haven't even heard. Wow. You know, so I was just wondering, because he was saying he just started, Michael, that's a musical genius. You know, he said he just started writing songs, and it's just, I guess it would just come natural.
You're absolutely right. And you know, a lot of these songs that you hear coming on the radio and they say that it's new, those are songs that have been written 10 and 15 years ago.
Yes.
They're just new to us because we've never heard it.
Right.
But sometime if you're just sitting at home or riding in the car, you'll see something, you'll think of something, you know, when it just makes you think like, oh, that's a song.
Yeah.
That's a song.
Yes.
You know? So it's like any little thing can spark some sort of interest to inspire you to write.
Yeah. That brings me back to the 5 Heartbeats, when the brothers was in the room.
Yeah.
And he said, that'll make a good song one day. And he just started writing on that little piece of paper and started writing. But the most impressive thing, I mean, I'm pretty sure it happens all the time, but the most impressive thing that I saw you do when we were doing Where's Papa Ray's Money? And when they brought the script, you was looking through it. Is this a musical? Okay, yes. Chuck, where's the songs? Yes. And you had to write all the songs for that play. Yes. And I was sitting back, I'm like, I'm glad the only thing I had to do was learn my script. This guy had to write all the songs, he had to arrange the songs, then he had to pick the particular person to sing the song. And I remember at rehearsal, you said anybody can sing the song, but if the song is not for you, boo-boo, understand, I will not give that song to you. Don't get your feelings hurt.
That's right.
You said, don't get your feelings hurt.
That's right.
It's just that if the song is not for you, I'm not going to give you that song.
That's right.
And you gave the song to the people. You said, there's going to be a lot of hurt feelings in this room. And trust me, I am not doing this to hurt nobody, but you have to understand, God has given me this gift, and I know who to give these songs to, who's going to put these songs across the way I want them to. That's right. Not saying you can't do it.
Right.
You probably can do it, and I know you can do it, but this particular song is not for you.
That's right.
And you said, but you guys got to understand, we're not out there just doing the plays. We're out there ministering to people.
Right. That's right.
And the song has to fit that person.
That's right.
And every single person that you gave a song to, when we went out into the audience, the people was like, I was blessed with that song that you sung. And then that's when it came back to me. That's what Chris was talking about.
Yes.
The song has to fit you because it's going to be a certain way a certain person sings that song, because whatever the lyrics is in that song, that's an experience that they've been through.
Exactly, exactly. You know, and it's all a part of casting. You know, singers, we tell stories. Songs have to complement the scene.
Right.
So most singers, you know, it's different to come from church to the stage,
Right.
theatrical stage, and sing,
Yes.
to make that transition. Because most of us are always thinking that we have to deliver our song vocally. But no, you have to deliver that song dramatically.
Yes.
You have to paint the picture and bring the audience into you, create that illusion
Yeah.
on stage. So if you say you've been crying all night long, we need to see and feel that you've been crying all night long.
Yeah.
The note may not be on point at this particular time, but it's a natural feeling.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
So that's what we teach, you know, our singers and actors as well. You know, know how to get those characters, develop those characters, and dig in. One thing I say about you, Raheem, you can act.
Thank you, brother.
You took that alcoholic character and made us, it was so believable. There wasn't a dry eye in the building. And I specifically remember it was one scene where you had to talk to Papa Ray
And the one on
at
screen.
the fireplace.
Yeah.
Yes, on the screen. And I'm telling you, and the way you delivered that dialogue was, you should have got a Grammy for that. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, because Chuck at rehearsal, Chuck kept telling me, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
I don't believe you. I don't know, Raheem, I don't believe you drunk. I don't believe you. Show me that you drunk. So I kept looking at you. You went. So I was like, all right. And I got my flask. Remember, I brought the flask to
you sure
rehearsal.
did. You
And
sure
then,
did.
because I remember, Chris, because I was slurring in my speech talking, and you tapped me. What you got in that flask? I said, oh, this is apple juice. You like, boy, you good. You like, you good. Because I was sipping on that apple juice, man, and I knew I was drunk.
I know, man, you
Yeah.
were so believable. But that's what acting is.
Yes.
You know, bringing those characters to life. So, I'm looking forward to the next show with you.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
But the way you portrayed your character in that play, and it was like, and Chuck, he casted it in a certain way to where he had you, you know, a fairly big guy with a small woman, but that small woman was chastising you. She was always belittling you, bringing you down,
Right.
telling you this and telling you that. And like Papa Ray, the father always told us, we ain't supposed to do to women. So what you did was you revert to eating.
Right.
Because remember, in every scene, you was eating.
Right.
You was eating. Even in rehearsals, you was like, Chuck, if I keep eating, man, y'all gonna have to push me on this bus. And then one time in a play where it took a dramatic turn,
Yes.
when she grabbed a gun and the gun went off. And then that was the last straw for you. And then you started getting real, you just started, I didn't know, because I was looking, I almost came out of character when we was in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I'm looking at Chris, I'm like, and then you started to deliver that song, man, and you started crying, and you started thinking about all the times where she kept belittling you in front of your father, kept belittling you in front of the family, and you was telling her it's not gonna be like this no more, and you was just delivering that song, man, and it was like, and that's what took us to intermission.
That's right.
That's what took us to intermission that night.
That's right.
And
That's right.
when we were going to intermission, Chuck didn't want to close the curtain because you got a standing ovation from that song, man. And you know, you was sweating, and everybody just kept clapping and clapping and clapping and clapping and clapping and clapping and clapping. And Chuck was just sitting there holding the curtain, and to the clapping died down.
Yes.
And then he slowly closed the curtain. Yes. And they said, there would be a 10-minute intermission. And then you hear everybody in the audience going, oh, man. But, man, let me tell you, man, I was just so, you're just doing big things, man.
Thank you so
yes,
much.
man. And I'm just, you know, hey, I'm just proud to be around you, man, and knowing that you're going to do bigger and better things, man. So, not too long ago, man, I heard you was doing something with Snoop
Let's talk about that.
Yes, I was featured as a writer and an artist on his first gospel project called Bible of Love. And I'm actually #1.
Really?
I'm the first song on the project. It was such a blessing. We won a Stellar Award. We won the Grammy Award. And we also won a BET Award. It was the #1 gospel project on Billboard charts for 11 consecutive weeks.
Wow.
So that was a blessing. And I also, Snoop is going to be featured on one of my upcoming singles as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
All right.
Yeah,
so make sure when you drop that single, make sure you drop it on Let's Talk About It.
Absolutely, because we got to talk about it.
We got to. But man, like I say, so how did, let's take me down the road on how you and Snoop collaborated with somebody that knew Snoop, that knew you, and how did you guys get together and make that happen?
My cousin, my first cousin, L.T. Hutton.
Right.
He's a producer. He and Snoop go way, way back.
Right.
And so when Snoop announced that he was doing a gospel project, my cousin said that he had something for Snoop. And my cousin produced my first project, which was entitled Believe.
Right.
And so he played the intro. Snoop said, I loved it. He said, I love it. So I want to put it on the project. And that's how we got on the project.
Wow.
Yes, so through my cousin. It's good to know people.
Yeah.
It's good to know. Like they say, it ain't what you know.
It's who you know.
Who you know.
Right.
So I thank God for that. And through that, the relationship has been it's good.
Growing.
It's good.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
good. And so I'm excited. And I can't wait to have Snoop on my upcoming upcoming song. So I'm excited about that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what's the upcoming songs you're working on?
Well, we are currently in the writing stages right now. So I have one song that's already recorded called Thank You Mama.
Right.
And that is a dedication to my mom,
Right.
which I lost her last year. And then we have another song called I Just Want to Dance.
Right.
And that's the single that we're going to put Snoop on.
Okay.
Because when I think about all the things that I have been through,
Yeah.
I just want to dance.
Yes. You just want to dance and just let it out.
And let it out.
There you go.
So be looking for that. And then, like I said, then we also working on a new television sitcom pilot called Chris and Chuck.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a comedy, which you'll be in. You just don't know it yet.
All right. I appreciate it. That's
So
good,
yeah,
man.
so we got that coming up. And then, like I said, I'll be getting ready to go over to South Africa starting next year to do the Chris Bolton Experience tour honoring caregivers.
All right.
Yes.
That's good, man.
Yes.
Well, God is blessing you, man, and I want you to keep up, keep doing what you're doing, man. And if you have anything you want to talk about, you know where to bring it, man.
Yes.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the show. And always remember, if don't nobody else love you, love yourself. And remember, do not share your 8x10 dream with someone with a 5x7 mind. Whew. Thank you for watching Let's Talk About It. To my guests, see you next week. God bless you. Thank you. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it, talk about it. Let's talk about it, talk about it. Talk about it. Let's talk about it, talk about it. Talk about it. Let's talk about it.
That girl from LA.